Good evening, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in with me on this week's podcast with Evolve with Angela and guest Yaside for higher conscious conversation in regards to sex or sexual energy exchange. I'm so glad that you are here with me. I'm honored to have my guest with me again. She's no stranger to the broadcast. She's been here with me before. And so I'm grateful that she has decided to accept the opportunity to come and be with us once again. If you have not already done so, I'm going to invite you to share the broadcast again with your followers and invite someone to be on the show with us tonight. Yoshide, I see that you're already on here with me. Can you hear me?
You still can't hear me?
Because I can't hear you again.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me, Yoshide?
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can hear you now. Whew. I don't know what was happening, but I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, I'm glad to be back.
Yes, we had such a great experience with you when you came on the show the very first time. A lot of people gave a lot of feedback as to um, how what you said resonated with them and how they
Oh,
tremendously
wow.
enjoyed your experience or your talk here. I even received some text messages and emails. I think maybe a week or so later that people had finally listened to the broadcast or they had listened to it multiple times, and how I mean they were just like, "Wow, that was some good stuff, good information," and asking when you would be back on the show again. So tonight we are just so privileged to have you back here with us to talk about this topic that we say is taboo amongst the Black culture, the Black church, or just in families, the melanated family overall. It's not something that is talked about, and if it is, it's downplayed as something derogatory, and not something
Hmm.
that's so beautiful as we know that it is. So, we're going to talk about that tonight, and I'm glad that you are the one that we get to sit down and have that discussion with. But first, off the top, you guys, today is just today's birthday, and we want to wish her a very, very happy birthday. I'll let you tell her age. Let her tell her age if she desire to do so. But today is her birthday. Today is a day that she's celebrating big, and we celebrate with her. And we just send her a big happy birthday from all of us at Evolve with Angela, Mind, Body, and Soul. Happy, happy birthday!
Thank you. Thank you. And
You're
I am
very
so proud to be 40 years old today.
okay. You said it. I wasn't gonna
Yes.
say it.
Yes, I'm
It's
proud of my
good.
age. Yeah.
Yes, 40 looks good on you. So we're gonna give you
Thank
some
you.
cheers. Yes. Cheers on big 40.
Yay.
Yes. I remember when I turned 40, I was excited and kind of nervous at the same time. Wasn't sure what to expect at that age, but
Mhm.
I made it through, and I'm all the way over to almost the other side. So, but we're gonna ask that you would share a little about yourself with those that are listening tonight.
Yeah,
You can talk
sure.
about your
So,
birthday if you did something for your birthday too. I didn't want to overlook that. If you did something special for your birthday, if you want to share that, you're more than welcome to.
yeah, I did. This is
Okay.
the first year that I have been celebrating my birthday all month.
Mm.
So, I've been celebrating all month. I went to Vegas.
Oh wow.
I went to Atlanta. I've just
Okay.
really been nurturing myself a lot more this month and
Yes.
just celebrating me. So, I've had a
Absolutely.
lot of fun. I think
Absolutely.
I should celebrate this way every month.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what?
all year.
I totally agree with you on that because for my birthday this year, which was last month, I've been celebrating me since that day, and I feel
Yeah.
like that I've earned that, and
Hmm.
it's time that I do that now. You know, it's time for me to celebrate me. So every single week, if not every other day, but every week, I'm doing something to celebrate me and to let me myself know, my higher self know that hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy, your femininity, everything that you stand for, everything that represents who you are. And I celebrate myself because if we're not celebrating ourselves, then who's going to do it? So,
Absolutely.
yes. So tell the audience that are listening about your C day.
Well, I am an intimacy doula.
Okay.
And what I do is I guide women specifically into an improved sexual spiritual life by helping them realize that connection and using it to create a life of bliss that they desire. Now, while I primarily work with women, I sometimes do have the opportunity to work with couples, which is always fun. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't turn away couples, but my
Mm-hmm.
primary focus is the woman because once she's intimate with herself, then it gets kind of trickles down if she's in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I
Absolutely.
do. I've been doing this, I tell people I've been doing it all my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it. Yeah, I
Okay.
live in Texas, and um, I'm a preacher's kid. So that
Mm-hmm.
right there says says a
Yeah.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just more. I'm not in the Christian religion anymore, but I'm definitely spiritual and have spiritual practices.
Okay. That's totally awesome. I have no qualms about anything that you said, and I'm right with you, right where you are. And we share a lot of similarities in that, and I think we discussed that the last episode of the show.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us about sexual energy exchange? And can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. About sexual energy exchange and um, just start right there first. Can you tell us about sexual energy exchange?
Yeah, sure. We have often heard how when you come together sexually, you exchange energy. We've heard that even in church or some form, and that is absolutely true. I always encourage people to um, I still encourage people be careful who you're exchanging that energy with, not because you're going to create a soul tie or you're going to go to hell, but really it's about is are y'all's energies going to mix? Is that person's energy toxic? That kind of thing. Just being aware of who you're giving your energy to, especially as women when we are often labeled as the receiver because of our womb area. We can take on the energy of another person. And I'm sure some of the listeners have experienced when they come together with another person intimately, through physical intimacy, and that person leaves feeling all jolly, and they're left feeling like, what just happened? I feel bad. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was some kind of uneven exchange going on.
Mm.
So the
Uneven.
exchanging of energy, yeah, is so
Okay.
important.
Okay. And so when you say that there's some type of uneven exchange going on, you mean as far as, I mean, what does a person really feel like when you say uneven
Yeah,
exchange?
like
Like it seems like the energy transfer was, it didn't match.
it didn't match. That
Right.
person, say you're feeling really good and you're you're feeling very happy and joyful and all that, and then somebody comes who is feeling all the opposite things, and
Mm-hmm.
y'all engage
Mm-hmm.
in physical
Absolutely.
activity. They take your happiness and your joy and give you all of their negative feelings. So that's
Mhm.
what I mean by kind of an uneven exchange. You want to both feel blissful and elated after it's done.
Absolutely.
Um, with the Marvin Gaye song "Sexual Healing," if you listen closely or even look up the lyrics, softly in the background, the background singers are saying, "Heal me, my darling."
Mm.
Marvin knew what he was talking about.
Mhm. Absolutely.
He was saying, how that sex was a like his medicine,
Mhm.
you know, and that is true. It can
It
be,
is.
but we have to
Mhm.
be very aware of who we are healing,
Yes.
who we're bringing into our space and everything like that. I'm not saying that you can't heal, that it's wrong to heal. I'm just saying be careful. Even
Mhm.
doctors and hospitals take precautions when dealing with the sick.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know,
That's very
yeah.
good. That's very good. They actually do. They put on their mask and
Mhm.
gloves, and they suit up. But when it comes to
Mhm.
us engaging into sexual energy exchange, um, people tend to go from partner to partner, and that's not good. The reason why you say that and I say that is because sex is an exchange of many things. It's an exchange of pleasure. It's an exchange of intimacy, orgasms. It can
Mhm.
be fun, but it's also an exchange of energy, and when you have sex with someone, you tend to pick up on some of their energy. And it's not something that you
Mhm.
can avoid. You can say, well, I'm not going to pick up that energy when we have sex. You can't avoid it. I mean, it's not something that you can say, shut off or turn off. It's something that automatically happens when you engage with sex because we're humans and sex is powerful. It's a powerful act that no matter how much we don't want to admit it, much of us, or it makes us pretty vulnerable to that other individual. And so we exchange things on an energetic level, and each
Mhm.
person deposits their energy into the others during the experience. And likewise, what you said about sicknesses and disease, or about the doctors, there can be sickness and disease that can be passed off to the next person during sex, and as well
Mhm.
as bad attitudes or positive attitudes. Your whole attitude can change. You wonder why you're getting it from the experience, and you angry. You can have joy. You can be saddened. You can go into a state of depression. You can be irritated. You can be excitement. And the like, and all our vibrational energies that can be passed on to the next person through sex. So anger, depression, sadness, all of these things can be passed on to someone during that sexual experience. And so it's vitally important to know who the person is. First of all, I think it's important to know who you are. When you know who you are,
Correct.
you'll know how to go about choosing that mate. What are your thoughts on the importance of um, knowing who you are? How can someone know? Well, I guess that would comes with them, experimenting. But how could someone know themselves?
I'm glad you asked.
Mhm.
um, as an intimacy doula, my primary focus is self intimacy. Like, I'm going to get you working on yourself first because it is my philosophy that no one should know you better than you know yourself. It sounds romantic to say, oh, my partner knows me better than I know myself. That's all romantic to say, but no, absolutely. In real life,
Mhm.
you should know yourself the best when it comes to what pleases you physically. Most definitely, that's going to come through um, experimenting with yourself through self pleasure. Use your hands, use your toys. I also have people to do mirror work. Before you can even touch yourself, I'm gonna need you to be able to look at yourself because a
Absolutely.
lot of women struggle
Mhm.
to just even look at their bodies. This avatar is just like so displeasing to them. So
Mhm.
that's where I really start is the mirror work. Let's get in the mirror.
Very
Let's
true.
talk this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And those and just lightly caress your body. When you're out the shower and you're moisturizing, all those kinds of things, just to start getting comfortable with looking at yourself and touching yourself, and not necessarily in a sexual way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you get to know yourself by breaking down systems that no longer serve you, beliefs that don't serve you. That's normally a difficult part of the process for a lot of people, especially if they come from a religious background, because you're going to have to decipher between what you actually believe and what you were taught to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, be taught one thing, but really in your heart, that's not what you believe. So you get to know yourself that way by breaking down those beliefs and saying, no, I don't believe this anymore. This is what I really believe, and then standing firm in that.
Mm-hmm.
There is it's a whole method, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just a couple of things where
Mm-hmm.
somebody can get to know themselves on a spiritual level and a physical level.
Mm-hmm.
Because breaking down those beliefs is definitely a spiritual thing, and it's gonna definitely impact how you get to know yourself physically. I'm not sure if I said this the last time, but I'm gonna use self pleasure as an example.
Okay.
Um, I come from a background where I was taught that that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a client who was taught that same thing, we have to get to, if that's what they really believe. Do you really believe it's wrong for you to pleasure yourself, to touch yourself in a sexual way? We have to get to the truth of that first.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person says, you know what, it's my body, I want to love my body, I want to know my body, I want to please my body, then we can move to the physical part, which is touching yourself in a sexual way. After we deal with the spiritual stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think the reason why most people have that belief that even looking at themselves in the mirror and you must are you moving around because we hear a lot of static in the back in your background. I'm not for sure if there's something.
Um,
That's okay.
I'm sorry, no, I'm not moving.
Okay,
Um, but
but
I'm
we
not sure
hear
what's happening.
okay, but we hear in a lot of communities that um, a lot of communities that most of the people that we have in our culture have grown up to feel like looking at their bodies is disgusting and
Mm-hmm.
not even loving themselves to that degree to where they won't want to even discover their own physical body. And just to even have that thought, matter of fact, not even having those conversations with your parents, that was just something that just wasn't done in a lot of the melanated community. And so now to say it's okay to look at yourself and it's okay to discover what you like, with self pleasure, that is like, I'm sure it probably is hard for some people to digest, especially if that's not something that they are used to. So, how do you break the program? How do you break someone that has been programmed that their bodies, to look at their bodies in a way of disgust? It's disgusting and certain things that they should not do. How do you break that person from that program?
Um, I give them just some self work to do,
Okay.
and I do a lot of talking and a lot of listening, and I ask a lot of questions so that that person is just, hearing themselves talk about why they feel this way. And, if I was to look at myself and love myself, what would that feel like? If didn't have these boundaries on me, what would that look like? What would it feel like to really just love myself and not have to worry about, oh, it's nasty, or oh, there's going to be this awful consequence. So I try to get them to imagine first, without the boundaries, and be free kind of mentally to imagine these things, and ask them, well, do you want to continue to feel this way? What? do you think you can do? Like if you already think your body is kind of disgusting, you can't just jump into touching yourself through self
Mm-hmm.
pleasure, masturbation. What's the first small step we can do? Can you just look at yourself for a minute? Take your whole body in for 30 seconds to a minute in the mirror, and then when you are showering or bathing or whatever, can you stop for a second and just focus on that area that you really just think is so the most disgusting, and just talk to that area, which for a lot of women is usually the belly area
Mm-hmm.
that they find disgusting. Honor your body. That's the most important thing, is honoring it and loving it. And I feel like in well, from my in my experience, to have self love was kind of frowned upon. You don't need to really love yourself. You really just need to love others, and love God, and then love others as God loves.
Hmm.
So it's kind of, you are taught to be disconnected from yourself, from your
Mm-hmm.
body, from your desires, um and your pleasures. And a lot of times people, they get confused because they desire to have pleasure, and that's what's in their heart, and then they get caught up in, maybe the scriptures and stuff. Well, God will give you the desires of your heart, and then they're like, but I desire to not not want to vomit when I look at myself. I desire to know what I like. And then they're often told that the more they get into God, then the desires of their heart become what He places there. It's all kinds of things that people say to kind of get around the work that really needs to be done, to tell people, to teach people that it's okay. It's okay if you choose to
Mm-hmm.
prioritize. I tell people I have these things called Bliss Commandments. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the Bliss Commandments is, I prioritize myself above all.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to digest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you can't prioritize yourself above all. You have all these other things that have to come first. Not in my world.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not good, then other things are not good.
Mm-hmm.
I am I'm a woman first. I'm not a
Absolutely.
mother first. I'm not a wife first. I am a woman first.
Mm-hmm.
And I start with helping women realize that they're a woman first before they were any of these other things,
Mm-hmm.
and help
Absolutely.
them reconnect with that.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope you guys are enjoying this discussion tonight. If you have any comments that you want to ask, you can put those comments in the comment section of the post so that we can answer those questions for. I'm sorry, we can ask those questions to her. Don't be shy. It's okay. Anything that she answers with, we won't leave, say your name or anything like that. We'll just read the question off, so you don't have to worry about someone exposing your name. But this place is safe. You won't be judged for your questions. If you do have a question, no one's going to judge you or criticize you if you have a question. So what does spirituality have to do with sexuality?
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, set your spiritual practice and your sexual practice are connected through, that energy that we were talking about. We can't see energy, but we can feel it. That's
Hmm.
like a spiritual concept that manifests in the physical realm. And so for me, I that sexual energy is that creation energy. You can create. the things that you desire with that powerful creation energy. And from church, we were taught to speak those things that are not as though they are. Well, that's manipulation of energy through your words. And you can do that same thing with sexual energy. And that's not necessarily saying that you have to have the physical act of sex to use that sexual energy. Like
Right.
me personally, I'm a very sexual being. Like my mom tells me I'm always on 10,000, which I am, and I endeavor to utilize just my natural sexual energy to bring pleasure into my life, to fuel my spiritual practices. You know, if my energy is feeling really good, I'm more likely to be able to use that in, my rituals and things like that. I use that energy to create things.
Mhm.
And even with the spiritual aspect of so a man thinks so he is, that's a spiritual
Mhm.
concept. If you think that you are not sexual and you think that you don't have the right to be a sexual being, then
Mhm.
you're not going to be those things. So
Absolutely.
it's a lot of mindset work. It's a lot of changing your language. It's a lot of things. There's no one special thing that's just going to be like, snap, it's done. It's all the working parts.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so sexual energy, I'm sorry, spirituality has everything to do with sexual energy. And
Hmm.
what you say is undeniably powerful. And the reason why I say that because it governs, or the sexual energy comes from, um, is governed by the lower energy centers or your lower chakra.
Yes.
Okay.
The sacral chakra is the seat of that sexual energy, and the sacral chakra is also called the navel chakra. So
Okay.
it's around your navel area, which for women is our womb area,
Okay.
where we literally create life,
Mm-hmm.
carry it, nurse it in there in vitro, and protect it and incubate it, and then we birth it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely do a lot of sacral chakra work with my
Okay.
clients.
That's what I was going to ask next. Is that something that you do? And how does one do the sacral energy work within themselves? Keeping in mind, those that are listening, that your sexual expression is controlled by the base root chakra, the sacral chakra. And the root chakra is very important to understand that it channels earth energy upward into the rest of the body's energy center. So that chakra provides your body the ultimate support and is vital for your existence. And so we talked about this before in another broadcast, that when your root chakra is in balance and it's healthy, we become very instinctive. We feel supported and we feel safe. We feel sensual and affectionate, and we're openly able to express our affections to our loved ones, and we feel divinely in life, in life form and pleasure and passions. And so it's important to keep that root chakra unblocked,
Hmm.
or if not, then you're not going to have that healthy vitality, or be extremely intuitive or instinctive or supportive. So how does one within their own house go about keeping that chakra unblocked? And then after that, I want to ask a question. So it's kind of like a two part. The next question is going to be, how does one practice sacral energy exchange with home? And what does that look like when it comes to, is it something you set your intentions, and how do you set your intentions? So it's like a two-part question.
Okay. Now, what you were saying about the root chakra, that is where we feel secure. So when you don't feel secure, but you're operating in your sacral, this is when you find somebody who jumps around a lot with meaningless relationships. I'm not saying you can't have more than one relationship because polyamory is a thing, but it's just you just leave, you just out here up in the body count, as they say,
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
up in your body count because somewhere you're not feeling secure. Your
Mhm.
root is off. So if you are secure in who you are and what you are and how you want to move, then
Mhm.
you can start, you know, operating in a healthy way with your sacral chakra, that sexual energy, because the energy is just energy. It's going to do what it's going to do. We have to be the ones in charge of how we're going to utilize it. Okay.
Mhm.
So you can definitely just be out here sacral wide open, but you just so insecure. You're not rooted or grounded in anything. You just out here. So I do have people to focus on feeling secure, and then we do that work. And for people who are really new to chakras and all that, I start with something really simple. We want to focus on the root chakra today. Wear red because that's the color associated with red. I mean, with the
Absolutely.
root. Something really simple because when you have these new concepts, because a lot of my clients are in church or coming out of. So
Mhm.
chakras is like, what?
Mhm.
No, that's the devil.
Mhm.
So I start with those simple things, just with color association,
Mhm.
simple visualization techniques like literally, imagine roots from your feet. You're good, you're safe. If your
Exactly.
root is if your root is balanced, then you have a sense of safety. And if you feel safe, then you're going to still feel that same sense of safety when you start to express yourself, um, your sexual self. And at home you can wear red at the house, you can light red candles, you can do easy simple guided meditations, because when people are just starting this kind of thing, they may need somebody to guide them through a
Mhm.
meditation, which those are by the thousands on YouTube. And once you
Mhm.
get that practice up, you won't need a guided meditation. You can just go to your little world by yourself. So
Mhm.
meditation is one way, color association is another way. Um, with the sacral, that has to do, with water and all that, bathing. So I tell people to take spiritual baths.
Mhm.
We're familiar with baptism. Sometimes I use that word because that's a word that people understand. They're more
Mhm.
likely to understand, you're going to baptize yourself versus if I say spiritual bath.
Mhm.
And so I will give them, herbs and stuff, to make to put in their bath and stuff like that. I don't tell people to ingest them because some people may have medicines and all that kind of stuff, but you can steep it like a tea and bathe in it. So
Mhm.
just stuff like that they can do at home. Because my business is virtual, I, everything that I assign is something people can do at home.
Okay.
Um, and then I also have them to touch their touch their womb area, touch it, see what comes up for them. Sometimes I may ask a question, and I'll say, how does that feel in your womb? How does that feel? Because that's where you're going to carry most of the trauma, is in that womb area. So we have to
Mhm.
start to heal all that up. If something is out of my scope, I will, say you may want to also consult a licensed therapist, because I am not a therapist. I am a doula, which that means I didn't go to, I don't have a doctorate degree, but a doula by definition is a woman who guides another woman.
Mhm.
So, but I can work in conjunction with the person who is going to also see a therapist and things like that. I've done that, and I had a client who had me as her doula, and she had a therapist, and she would talk to the therapist about stuff that we were doing. Um, with she and I, and the therapist was like, you know what, that is exactly right. That's something I wouldn't have
Mhm.
thought of, or something that I think is good, so it's really a team effort i- in this woman's village to help really raise her in a way, so to speak,
Hmm.
raise her into who she desires to be or who she used to be, but it got suppressed or whatever. I'm in that village with her, helping her through that. So there's a lot of simple things, and I've talked long enough. What was the other part of the question?
Well, um, I guess about how does one practice sex magic, but I'm going to do a little recap for those that may have tuned in to the broadcast. We've been talking about sexual energy exchange, about sex magic, and some of the things that we stated tonight was that sex magic can be both a partnered experience and it can be a powerful
Hmm.
self-loving experience. So it can be a practice using or sex magic is a practice using a powerful sexual exchange or life force energy to manifest your desires. So this is what we're going to get into now. How do we
Okay.
manifest the desires? Because we want to manifest our desires, and we also want to wildly change our world. We want to change the world that's around us. And so, and pretty much basically in like Cosmo language, it is a manifestation practice that amplifies
Hmm.
our intentions with energetic power of an orgasm. So you're going to use the orgasm to manifest your intentions, but how does one manifest their desires? What is the first thing that someone must do in order to manifest? What
Okay,
do you think
sure.
about sex magic?
Sex magic. Okay, I like that too.
Okay.
The first thing you want to do is to set a clear intention. Um, like for me, two years ago, yeah, it's been 2 years. I was like, I want a new car, and I
Mhm.
set my intention about the car. Um, you can get as specific as you want, but I was like, I wanted to be black on black. I want an SUV. And stuff like that. And so I set that intention and I thought on it, and I had already prepared to later that night self pleasure in order to activate that intention.
Mhm.
And so you really, from what I do is I really take the time. I listen to my music. I was thinking about my car, and then you touch yourself, or how whatever you want to do, however you want to touch yourself. I use toys because I got short arms, so I can't be reaching down there, child, with my hands. I use a toy.
Mhm.
And so, you can, when you're about to when you're about to orgasm, you can feel that energy kind of churning up. And
Mhm.
so you can enjoy that sensation definitely.
Mhm.
But what I like to do is I like to bring it up just when I'm about right there, and then I push it back down. And then I bring it up again because I want more time to kind of think about whatever my intention is. And then at the point of orgasm, that's when you really bring it back to your mind. I
Mhm.
want the car or whatever. And when you're orgasming, you see it. You see the thing, you feel the emotion of having the thing, and you just let it out. I
Yep.
mean, and it does take practice, definitely. Definitely takes practice, but that's fun. I mean, if you're gonna practice something, that's gonna be the fun thing to practice, right? So,
Mhm.
it's a practice. You're gonna practice sex magic. But that's how you do it. That's in a nutshell. Set the intention and then at the point of orgasm, bring the intention back to the front of your mind very strong, and release it out as you're orgasming. Now, in the in between, you can enjoy that. Just remember to bring it back to the front at the point of orgasm.
Mhm.
And it would be the same if you were with a partner.
Absolutely. Let me just say this. It's not something that you have to, when we say practice sexual energy or sex magic, that you and your partner have to sit on the side of the bed and hold hands and pray to God and ask God to give you
Right.
an encounter. It's not one of those types of activities. You don't have to
Right.
turn around in your bedroom 3 different times and play Jesus on the main line. have to do any of those things. I mean, if you want to do, that's what you want to do. That's how you want to practice it. Then by all
Mhm.
means, go ahead and do that. But it's very, very simple, as what
Mhm.
yesterday said. Number one, set your intentions. And when we say set your intentions, be very clear, crystal clear with one intention, because you only can manifest or focus on one thing at one time. It's important to just to focus on one
Mhm.
thing at one time so you can manifest that one specific thing and be
Mhm.
very clear, meaning to be very specific in what you want to manifest. And if you're going to engage in this with a partner, it's helpful to discuss that and decide together, which can be a really honest and fun thing to do with your partner ahead of times
Yeah.
of your intention and desired outcome. And if you don't discuss it, you're not on the same page, then conflict can arise. So this way, discussing it helps diminishes the conflict and the manifesting power. Um, comes to a halt or is neutralized. So setting your intentions, talk about first what you guys want to manifest, and then you guys can engage in the sex magic to manifest and practice in the sexual exchange. Is there another step that you want to give them after setting the intention?
Enjoy yourself. Don't get too rigid with it. Like, okay, I got an orgasm. I got an orgasm. I got an orgasm. No, enjoy that journey. Enjoy the journey. And then when it's time to orgasm, because when you orgasm, there's this sense of euphoria. You have absolutely no worries. And that's the best time to shoot out that intention as well, because you're going to get up like you're going to get whatever that thing is.
Hmm.
Because you've been in you in bliss land, and you just know it's yours.
Yes.
But I would definitely encourage people to enjoy the process. Don't 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 be hard on yourself. Don't be rigid with yourself, because then that's just going to cause problems. You're going to hate to do it. It's going to feel like a chore, and that's not what we want.
Hmm.
And then
Absolutely.
with discussing it with your partner, if you are fortunate enough to have a partner who would be open to that, that's going to just build intimacy between the two of you, to be able to be open about a practice like that. That I think that's awesome, and that's going to just make it even better, because it's like an intimate thing to be spiritually connected in that way and have that same focus.
Hmm. Absolutely. That's very good. I want to add that there's one thing that I would suggest, because even when it comes to manifesting, writing things down always helps. And it's good to
Hmm.
also, after you've engaged in the act and set your intentions, you engaged in sex magic, afterwards, write down what it is that you're trying or you desire to manifest. And I like to write down um, like my goals and my desires that I want to manifest, because it energizes our desires and thoughts and allows
Hmm.
them to take form in a tangible way. And so I like to do it in an old fashioned way. I have my own, like a little journal that I write in, and I take my pen and paper, not the computer. It's okay to use your, electronic device if that's all that you have. But I like to do it the old fashioned way and actually take a pen or a piece of paper and journal or bullet point and make it plain for my eyes to see. And I'm very, very conscious with being mindful. Um, and working on one particular thing at a time. And
Hmm.
you can write down several things, because when it comes to, the orgasm, it's important, to work on one thing at a time. And then another thing that we can add in there is it could be number three or number four, or you don't even have to do these other steps, but meditate on it. I spend
Hmm.
quite a deal of time in meditation, and meditation to me helps to generate positive feelings, but positive energy
Hmm.
towards my desired outcome. And it helps me to mentally visualize what it is that I'm believing for. Like what you said about your car, I too have had times of meditation where I visualize me getting a particular car. I was in meditation and I saw myself actually driving a car. I smelled the interior of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually touching the cloth, the leather of the car, and I knew exactly how I wanted it to be. But I had not physically sat in the vehicle, but I did in my mind. The mind,
Correct.
the
Yeah, you have
imagination
to.
is. Hmm.
Yes, yes. You can't just see the thing. You have to bring in
Yes.
that emotion of it,
Hmm.
connecting the
Absolutely.
emotions to it. Like you were saying, you could smell it, and
Mhm.
you know how it felt to sit in this car. You had your emotions involved, and
Yes.
that is a part that a lot of people skip. They just be
Hmm.
like, "Oh yeah, I can see it. I wrote it down," but
Absolutely.
you have to feel that thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can draw a picture of it and, like you said, see it. You can even taste and smell it. The more
Hmm.
energy you direct towards your intention, the better it is for you. And you don't
Hmm.
even have to rush this process. Don't rush,
Right.
this particular process. Take your time. This is
Yeah.
your sacred moment. This is not like a drive-by experience that you're going to hurry do this
Correct.
drive-by, get it done out of the way. No, take your time with this. This is important for you. This is about manifesting things that you want to experience in your reality and changing your world. So that takes time. I
Yes.
mean, if you think about how the scriptures say that God created the world in 7 days, that takes time. To create anything of great substance takes time. Anything
Hmm.
of great value takes time. And for me to manifest the car that I wanted to drive, it took some time for that to happen for me. It didn't come for me overnight, but it did eventually come and it manifested exactly how I wanted it to manifest. And I used the
Hmm.
power of my intentions, meditation, writing down, and sexual energy magic. I used the powers of all of those things. And one of the last things that we can say, um, you can release it. After you've done all of these things, release it and
Hmm.
infuse all of this powerful manifesting energy you've created into sex and then release it and let it go. Don't sit and wonder, well, I wonder if it worked.
Right. You can't have any doubt in your power.
Absolutely. You can go ahead and speak on it.
Hmm. Yeah, when you are done, you have released it out. You just go on with your life.
Hmm.
Don't doubt that you like, oh, I don't know if I did it right. Just know that's where it comes in being secure in your own power.
Absolutely.
And when you're securing you in your own power and you're confident in that, then it's just gonna happen. But definitely all the things you said, journaling and meditation and all of these things, like in church we often during praise and worship, we were setting the atmosphere.
Hmm.
It's the
Absolutely.
same thing when you're wanting to manifest things. Before I engage in sex magic, I have set the whole atmosphere. I have taken a luxurious bath. I've lit candles. I have
Mhm.
flowers in my room. I'm smelling good. The room smells good. The bed smells. Everything's smelling good. All the things that make me get ready, just like praise and worship helped us to get ready to receive
Mhm.
whatever the pastor was going to be talking about. So it's the
Mhm.
same thing. You can do that same thing at home, set the atmosphere in wherever is comfortable for you. For me, it's my room, my bedroom, it's my sanctuary. It's a
Absolutely.
sacred place. So when I step in here, it's already lit because I've set the energy that way. If I don't light one candle when I come in my room, I can feel the energy because I've worked to set it that way. And
Mhm.
then all the other things I do just enhances that energy and stirs it up and all of that stuff. Um, so there's so many ways you can do it. It can
Mhm.
be you can set your atmosphere as simply or as elaborately as you want to, but at the end of the day, your intention needs to be clear. Enjoy the journey from setting the intention to the orgasm and release it and
Mhm.
just know it's done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Like that is done. And again, you build your sexual energy gradually. And when you're ready to
Mhm.
release, then you release at the state of climax and set your intentions clearly as your body releases life force through the orgasm is amplified. And so, but let me
Mhm.
just say this for those that are listening: there is no set formula. Do what resonates with you. If nothing that we
Mhm.
said tonight resonates with you, then don't do that. We're not suggesting this is what you need to be doing. We're just giving out some tips and some different things that we possibly have used from our own personal experience. We're just sharing with you, having a conversation with you. But do what resonates with you. There's no one set formula that works for everybody. And hopefully, um, you'll be feeling, like magic based off whatever formula you have. After your experience, you'll feel energized, rejuvenated, excited about what you're manifesting. And please know, too, that you can relax and know that you're not trying to force nothing to happen. You're just setting your intention. The
Mhm.
universe is the one that conspires to make your intentions happen for you. And this is not, the only way that you can make things manifest. This is just a tool.
Yeah.
Sex magic is just a tool. You have any other additional thoughts that you want to share?
I just want to encourage everybody, whether male or female, you know, use your sexual energy to create the life you want. Um, get intimate with yourself and just be you. Learn to be you and be okay with that. Because if you're okay with that, then the people who are gonna rock with you gonna still rock, and those that are not, then hey, they can roll on. So I just want to encourage everybody to be true to themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't know if anyone have any questions that they want to ask. Yesterday I didn't see any questions come past on the screen, and so I'm just going to
Okay.
give just some closing thoughts that I feel that is important for us to just share. First of all, let me just say I really truly enjoyed having this conversation with you. I enjoyed you being here. I enjoyed you being my guest. And I hope all of you enjoyed everything that was shared on tonight. And I hope by all means you know that as with everything that we discussed on Evolve with Angela Mind, Body, and Soul, you're under no pressure, under no obligation to participate and to engage in anything that we share. These views that are expressed here on tonight, as well as all of our broadcasts, are the expression of those that are discussing it. And we're just expressing ourselves. We're having a conversation. Again, I just want to reiterate that for those that may be listening on YouTube and all the other streams that this broadcast would go. And so, if you're hearing anything tonight, if you've heard anything tonight that makes you slightly uncomfortable, that's okay. Your sexual expression may just be a little jammed up. And it sounds like your root and your sacral chakra may need a little bit of TLC, which is totally no fault of your own. And we talked about that earlier in the broadcast. It could be cultural, it could be religious, it could be a number of different things. Either way it go, I would suggest that you find a supportive group of something that can help you bring balance and heal your sexual expression. Um, it is my desire that you embrace your sexual expression fully and freely as a part of the divine being that you are. If you're open, hopefully you're open to the idea after tonight. If you're open to the idea and you understand exactly what we're discussing tonight, sex is powerful, sex is spiritual, and
Hmm.
can be healing for you if you desire for it to be healing for you. So long as you are engaging guilt free. If you're engaging in a
Hmm.
sexual experience and you feel guilty about it, then therefore there's no healing that's taking place. And making healthy sexual choices that support our bodies and overall well-being are highly important. And so um, I'm going to ask Yashide before I give this last little affirmation, because I want us to go over affirmation. Do you want to share your social media handles with those that are listening so they'll know how to get in contact with you if they so desire.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Getcho Bliss. One word is GETCHO Bliss, BLISS. Getcho Bliss. And then you can also find me on Facebook. My business page is also Get Your Bliss. And if you want to just be my friend on social media, you can find me under my name, Yeside, YESIDE Davis.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate that. And so tonight I'm going to leave this with this one affirmation. And I want you to repeat this affirmation. You can repeat it tonight and you can repeat it any other night outside of this broadcast. My sexuality is powerful and inhabits the same marvelous vessel God created me in. I'm going to say it again because I want us to understand we're not separate from our sexuality. Our sexuality is powerful. So repeat the affirmation again. My sexuality is powerful and inhabits the same marvelous vessel God created me in. And then you need to be proud of that. Be proud of your sexuality. Thank you so much for joining tonight, Benjamin from Ghana. I would encourage you to go back and listen to the broadcast over again, and just so you can get some idea as to what we are discussing on the broadcast tonight. I think you will enjoy. We are talking about sexual energy exchange, and so be very proud of your sexuality. And I thank each of you for sharing this space with me and for sharing and listening about spiritual sex or sex magic. If you've gathered any insightful gems from this, please don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to share the broadcast with someone else. Perhaps someone else that you know may be experiencing a sexual energy blockage. So, but if you're still having some concerns about being sexually bold and that's still a work in progress for you, send me over an email. I can be emailed at info@angelawhiteirvin.com. I love to chat with you. I would love to chat with you about that because I understand that programming and trauma are a beast, and that's all that you're really dealing with. And I want to help you, as well as your CDA. She wants to help you reprogram your mind and heal from the trauma that you've experienced.
Mhm. Yes, definitely.
So I want you to know that I love you and send you love light immensely. And I want you to know that you're so dope. You're extremely powerful. And nothing that you do can ever, first of all, when it comes to sexual energy exchange, can cause or make God be angry with you. You're not going to be
Hmm.
punished. And I think that's important for you to know. So until next time, I am your host, Angela White Irvin of Evolve with Angela Mind, Body, and Soul. I love you, and I'll see you on the broadcast next week. Namaste.
Namaste.